Hop in the Wayback Machine with me. Let's go back to the Friday before LSU played Vanderbilt. Doing one of the most chaotic remotes in the history of the show. Was at Garth Brooks's bar, Friends in Low Places. A country band, full throat behind us. About 2,000 people there. Not solely for the show, but a big part of it was for the show. A great environment. Loved being there. And as we were looking at the LSU availability report, Whit Weeks was questionable. And in the first 30 seconds of that show, I told you he ain't playing. Because what I found out there when we were in Nashville was that Whit Weeks had a fracture. And I told you that he was going to be out a while, and I think the optimistic or the hopeful point of view is that you'd have him back for Alabama. On Tuesday night, Whit Weeks, his first media availability since the injury, disclosed finally what his injury was.
Well, I broke my ankle again, which that's not fun, so it just hurts. And I mean, I can't really, play football on it because I could hardly even walk for 6 weeks. So that was the issue.
So we'll go a little deeper into all of this with Weeks. You might say, Matt, if you heard it was a fracture, why didn't you say it? It's a good question. It's a fair question. Because I could never get it confirmed exactly what the injury was. I knew he had a fracture, but I didn't know if it was his foot, if it was his ankle, if it was his shin. I didn't know if it was a hairline fracture, how severe it was, if he had surgery, any of those particulars. And for the last 5-6 weeks, there's probably a lot of people at LSU that are sick of hearing me ask about it. But I could never get a coach, a medical staff member, a sports information person, comms person with the athletic department. I couldn't get anybody to confirm it. I don't know why. I don't know why they wouldn't disclose the injury, and there's HIPAA, and they could do whatever they want. But the point being, there have been a number of people, and I've seen it out there, who have suggested over the last month or so that Whit Weeks quit. He opted out. That Landry Kiffin had ruined him as a football player. I've seen all what's the guy who cut his hair? Not Hercules, the guy who cut his hair. Samson and Delilah. That was like Samson, they're cutting his hair. No. Play 5, please, if you would.
So we went Ole Miss and then off week. Yeah. Didn't do anything the off week. And then the week of South Carolina, I was like, holy cow. I hardly even practiced before that game just because I could hardly even walk on it. But then just kind of sucked it up for that game. But then I remember on Sunday I was taking a shower, and I was like, I can't even stand in the shower. I probably need to go get this checked out. Sure enough, got an MRI on it, and sure enough, it was broken.
So same ankle as the bowl game injury, but a different injury. And God bless you. You might remember the play at the end of the Ole Miss game where he was making a tackle and a player fell on the back of his foot, and that's where the injury happened. And they had the open date after Ole Miss, so he had a chance to sort of let it rest. Didn't do much South Carolina week, as you heard him say. Played against South Carolina. Played well against South Carolina, actually. The game with Lenore Sellers. But after that is when they got the testing done, realized he had a fracture, and he hasn't played since. So I guess the cautionary tale is don't jump to conclusions, y'all. Sometimes if something don't look right, chances are it ain't right. In any event, I love what Whit Weeks brings to this team. The other really good news, he said he did not need surgery on it and won't need surgery. He said that it was like a clean break right down the middle, and so he won't need surgery. Just when it's healed, it's healed. He was also asked about playing this weekend against Oklahoma, number 7, about what he might do this week.
I mean, I think so. I was able to play 14 snaps last week, hopefully get 30 this weekend. As long as I can move, I'm going to go out there and play.
I think that's so critical for LSU this week, to get what you can from Whit Weeks against Oklahoma. It's interesting when you look at Oklahoma because they are a team that is so very similar to LSU. And it's odd. It's really odd because LSU is sitting here at 7-4. Oklahoma is 9-2. But Both teams lost games to Ole Miss. Their other loss was a non-conference against Texas, but they've managed to win some of it. They won a close game at Alabama, 23-21. LSU, remember, held Alabama to 20 points, but struggled to get the offense going. But this is an Ole Miss team, this is an Oklahoma team that statistically looks so much like LSU. They're 75th in passing offense. Oklahoma is 99th in the country in rushing offense. They're 72nd in scoring at 27 points per game. Sound familiar? It's a lot like LSU. The big difference is they are 6th in the country in scoring defense. They've been awesome defensively. LSU, 67th in passing, 123rd in rushing, 105th in scoring. I mean, these are two teams that have really struggled offensively. Their defense has carried them by and large. But Oklahoma's found a way to scratch out a couple more wins than did LSU. So if they lost the rivalry game against Texas when John Mateer maybe came back a little too soon, and they lost that game against Ole Miss. LSU just has a couple more L's. You went on the road and couldn't get it done against Vanderbilt, a game you probably should have won. You fell short in that game on the road at Ole Miss, where you struggled to get off the field and finish drives. Games where you had opportunities to win. That's the difference in the margin. But this is a game where it's going to be a defensive game. You have two really good defenses and two offenses that really struggle a lot. And so, and it's supposed to be wet. The conditions are not supposed to be great. So if you tell me that I'm going to get 30 snaps out of Whit Weeks, who not only is an emotional leader, his high football IQ, guys where they're supposed to be on the field all the time, and just his playmaking ability defensively, I get 30 snaps in a game where you're probably, I'm not going to say it's going to be a running clock, but I think you're going to see both these teams in that environment probably go into a little bit of a shell because they're going to be fearful of making the big mistake to cost them the game. Yeah, man, you give me 30 snaps out of Whit Weeks, that might be half of your defensive snaps. I'd love to see it. So Whit Weeks battling to get back out there. He also said that he plans to get healthy and that the plan is to go play in the bowl game. Has said he's not yet thought about his future after this year, if he's going to go pro or make that decision. So he'll make that at some point. But be great to see Whit Weeks getting out there, running around, making plays for this LSU defense. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.